Hello, my name is Gwen, and welcome to your practice. We'll enjoy an hour together as we discover that brightness and we wake up and supercharge that inner strength today through our awareness. So we'll start by building a heart bed. A heart bed is a support that we'll use for a restorative back bend today. You can use anything as your cushion to start with. So if you don't have anything around but blankets, please roll up a blanket. You can roll it up tightly, like that. If you have a bolster, you can use that, or you can use a little bit of both. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of both today. I want to elevate the head. So I'm going to bring my yoga blocks. I'm just going to use one yoga block today because I'm going to build a heart pillow with the blanket as well. So I'm going to unfurl the blanket nice and long. Drape it over the bolster. The head of the blanket roll, and this is a waterfall pillow. And then when you're ready, you butt your butt right up to that, hang on, and then unfurl the spine. The head will go right on top. The chin will be a little closer to the heart center. And in all somatic yoga that I teach, once you have the gist of it, you close those beautiful eyes. You can start to walk the feet a little closer to the sit bones, a little bit at a time. Heel toe them a bit wider and toes are inward. Knock the inner knees. And as we breathe together here, feel and sense from the inside out your starting point. Knees are bent for a moment to observe the conversation in the lower spine. So notice what's going on in your lower back. Feel one side and then the other. If the conversation is light and you're not feeling very much sensation, the sit bones can remain. You can start to lengthen out through one leg and then the other. And then allow yourself to drape a little more. And if that lower spine, for whatever reason, needs a little bit more comforting, then you can bend up the knees, press into both feet, and take a blanket right underneath the sit bones so that the sit bones are elevated now. We're not in that C shape, a back bend, a deeper back bend of the lower back. You're still receiving here beautifully. Just a little less of the conversation, just backing off a bit here. And if this feels delicious, then go ahead and heel toe your feet wider, toes in, inner knees knock. Let yourself feel good as the body starts to center in, inward, to you. So as you breathe, pull in that next breath through the nose. A light little pause, and then feel the body settle a little more each time. Inhale through the nose, feel the coolness like two streams of light waking up. Exhaling it all out and enjoying that exhale. Notice the breath now as you inhale, feel the coolness, refreshing. A light little pause filled, and then exhale it all out as the body starts to settle in. The shoulders will drape like weights. Feel the whole body let go, receiving this shape. Restorative yoga offers a support, whatever you can find, and then your job is to lean in and let go. And how much can you let go in this shape? Feel the toes to the heels, a vibration of some sort. Notice to the knees, to the hips. Feel that weight. Any deep-seated exhaustion starts to melt, dissolve. Every breath, letting go. This pure intent of receiving as we let go a little bit more and wake up as we supercharge and come into our inner strength. So 2 cleansing breaths before we dive into our pranayama here. Go ahead and take that next inhale all the way in and up through the nose. Hold, and then enjoy the descent. One more just like that. Inhale all the way in and up. A light little pause here, and then go ahead and dive in through the nose. Feel and sense this inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. This next breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Classic breath of yoga, nasal breathing. As we invite our good friend here, the Ujjayi breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. Your body will know this one well. Notice how it is today. As we bring all our awareness to this pattern of breath at this moment. Notice if there's any obstacles in the way. Is it agitating your body, big or small? Any agitation, please drop the breath, come to any breath that feels good, and follow us with your visionary skills. You will receive. So as we breathe here, in and out through the nose, notice the breeze at the back of the throat. The sound, an ocean sound, a breeze, a coolness. Each inhale and each exhale lengthening as it constricts the breath naturally. Contains us at the top of the container through our chin lock. And then dropping your awareness down to the base of the spine for a moment. Let's engage this area, the bottom of the container. Gently, like you have to go to the bathroom, hold. You feel a little lift at the pelvic floor, our root lock. From the top to the bottom, fully held here by the breath. Inhale, feel and sense the breeze at the back of the throat. Exhale, a slight little lift. It happens naturally through this breath. As we bring our awareness, we gain that strength, that power here. And if you've been feeling a little discomfort in the lower lumbar sacral spine, I'm going to add on one more landmark for you. Inhale nice and full and deep, and as you exhale, draw your awareness into the navel center. It can be soft just through the awareness. Or each exhale, you can bring a little muscular effort if you're experiencing quite a bit of discomfort or you're unable to get up. If you're unable to get up, you'll draw that navel to the spine and maybe upward in a hollowing effect, engaging fully. So have some fun through this breath. Let it support you. Nice. This is an amazing breath, this Ujjayi breath. It can energize your body and at the same time come into this deep relaxation, this state of absorbing a little more, digesting a little bit more through our awareness, and receiving a little more ease in our body as the core takes over this amazing intelligence. As we breathe this breath, the core will notice. It will get the messages. And then the rest of the body has a little more time to let go and melt as the core is now holding you. The rest of the body will simply let go. So notice what you notice today. Have some fun through your practice. I'll give you some time here, some valuable time to feel the breath. 2 more breaths just like that, filling up, a light little pause, and then exhaling through the nose. Sense and feel the bottom of the spine, the top. And how about one more like that? As you inhale, maybe you feel that bottom of the spine a little more. The diaphragm will drop. And as you exhale, that diaphragm lifts all the way up into the heart. All the way up. And then go ahead and drop the breath. Come into whatever breath feels good for you. Maybe you'll stay with the Ujjayi breath nice and softly here. Allow the core to hold you through a transition where we do need our core a little more strength. Go ahead and walk the feet up to the sit bones now. And then we're going to attempt to roll right off gracefully. So go ahead and roll off of your props all the way to the floor. Sometimes it feels like a long way down. Let the head rest on the arm. Feel your back body. And then go ahead and do a little light housekeeping and roll the props right off. Clear the runway here while we gently come to our back body. Whatever feels good. Take your time feeling into the floor, the back. You might want to hang on to your mat. I often keep my eyes closed. So I like to hang on to the mat through my hands and then shimmy to where it feels like the middle-ish. And if it feels better to leave the knees bent, please go to where it feels better. You'll heel toe the feet wider, come into active resting pose by drawing the toes in, heels out, inner knees knock. Or go ahead and lengthen through one leg at a time. Take your time. As you breathe, feel into that lower spine and notice if that's okay on this side. And if it's a thumbs up, go ahead and feel into the other side. Any discomfort we don't put up with. So if there's any discomfort in your little inner being, your little inner voice is feeling any discomfort in the lower spine, that's how the body speaks to you in subtleties. So if you feel any, please bend up the knees. Look after yourself where you are. Pay attention and breathe and have some fun. Let's come into the deliciousness of this practice. So this is a body scan. With the eyes closed, float your awareness, your inner eyes to the heels and feel where the toes are splaying. From one side to the other. If we're laying on the beach, what would your imprint look like as you come up through the heel of the Achilles now, down through the fullness and the weight of the calf. Notice to the back of the knees as you send some appreciation to your knees that bring you exactly where you need to be at exactly the right time. Down through the thigh. Feel one side and then the other, the frequency running through, the vibration. And then float your awareness to the sit bones. Are they even or uneven today? From the sit bones to the lower lumbar sacral spine of the lower back. Awareness up. You might be floating up to the mid-spine. Float it broad and wide to the back of the shoulders here. Feel the back of the skull in a light little rock from side to side. Notice the playfulness inside. As you connect to that inner grin. This is your powerful you. As we playfully journey through the body today, witness and sense. Have some fun. And allow your body to imprint ease as you take that journey out of discomfort. We'll allow a little more ease in the body. Range of motion will grow. A little more flexibility in our body and our thoughts as it spills into our life. And how about one more breath just like that? And then come into stillness and allow that exhale to ground you as you gently feel into the earth quality of this pose where we're laying on a floor. And then feel the top half of the body. Open. Wide open. And then go ahead and take one more breath, that inner snapshot of your starting point. And then we'll bend up one knee. Plant that foot. And then the other. Feel how the body works in unison and starts to share the workload. As you press into both feet, draw the hips over to one side. I'm going to come over to my left and roll over to my right side. In a fetal pose. A pose that our body knows really well. This is a somatic crossover pose. This one that we're going to come into is called crunch. And so we will start on our backs, but I'd like you to feel the side body for a moment. As we were laying on our backs for a while, feel one side of the body and then feel the other. And just notice what that's like, the top edge, the lower edge. And as you close your eyes, just feel this pose. One leg laying right onto the other. The head nice and heavy on the arm. And then one more breath, just like that. And then let's go ahead and roll onto our backs. As you roll onto your back, notice what is on the floor. Leave the knees bent and witness that edge of the body that was laying on the floor from shoulder to hip, maybe all the way down that leg. With the eyes closed, witness the other side. We were in fetal pose just before laying on our back. What's the effects of that in you? Just notice for a moment. A little bit of time here to witness a very simple pose and all the effects. And so this one is called crunch. It's a crossover that will repattern the lower belly, the transverse abdominis, and the whole core line, the outer hips, the shoulders. Wherever we have any SMA, any sensory motor amnesia. And so that's sensory motor amnesia, is when the mind and the muscle has forgotten how to move in unison together. You'll know that that's occurred when you have a little discomfort in the body, little pain. And so we're going to come into this crunch, this beautiful repatterning crossover. So take that next inhale and feel the back body. Notice how the back body can arc just a wee bit off of the floor. And as you exhale, feel a slight little bit of flattening sensation. Draw your attention into the pelvis now. As you inhale, feel that arc. As you exhale, a flattening may be occurring. We'll do one more like that. Not to worry if you don't feel this. Just notice how your back is feeling as you exhale. And then you'll pause. We'll start with the right hand down the side and the left hand right behind the back of the head. The elbow can move, and notice how it can. So you can point that elbow in any direction. It's a nice little clue that what's coming up here. So go ahead and take an inhale and press into that long and strong arm and arc the spine, chin upward, upper elbow presses. As you exhale, lift that right leg towards the belly. As you inhale, let it come down. Arc the spine. Press, chin up. As you exhale, right leg comes to the belly. The right hand comes in for assistance. And then it helps it come down, and you notice. Let the arm come down. You might take a breath or two, or come into the arc. And as you exhale, that leg can come up, the arm can come up. Let's invite the upper body in, carry the head, elbow to knee connection. As you let everything come down to the floor, take a breath or two, or arc when you can on the inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee connection. Rhythmically come into it, maybe like a fluid style motion, continuous. Or maybe when the elbow is up close to the knee, you hit the pause button, feel the front of the spine, feel the lower spine, and how the body is breathing and working right here in solitude. Or maybe you pause down. You might press into the floor and arc that spine and feel how the back body contracts and is working, even just a little bit. Notice what you notice in a continuous fluid-like motion for 1, 2, 3, or 4 here. Doesn't take very much for the body to witness from the inside out and for the brain to rewrite the script here. So we'll take a pause, a body scan. Bring the hand down when you can. Heel toe the feet wide. Toes in, inner knees knock. Knuckles heavy here. Feel for a moment from one hip to the other. Up the outer legs to the knees, down to the heels. Follow all the way back up and all the way down. Feel that vibration, this information. It will move through our sensory motor system, feeding all the way to the brain. Notice what you notice as we give a little bit of time for the secretary of the body, the command center. Breathe into it where you think the center of the brain is. Send it your attention, some breath. Feel it unwind and soften. Notice the patterns, the lightness, any heaviness, any sensation. Beautiful. And then one more breath, just like that. Then go ahead and roll the palms down. Bring the other hand up. The other hand down. So now I have my right hand behind my head, my left hand by my side. Take a deep breath when you can and arc. Press the elbow, the long and strong arm, into the mat. As you exhale, let's come up in one. Let the left hand help the leg, the hand help the head, elbow to knee connection. In a fluid style motion, maybe you come a little bit off the mat, just to get a hair, like a piece of paper underneath the head. You never have to come up so far. Maybe the foot comes just a wee bit up, elbow to knee, and then we softly come downward. Experience and notice. Maybe these are the areas that you bypass quite a bit. So like we're taking a little hike through the body. We don't want to miss this area. Look around that corner and notice what you notice as we move and we breathe like this. Know that if you're feeling something, you're doing it right. There's no perfect in any of this. So nice and easy here. Maybe one more breath as we wake up this part of the body. Deep inhale, and as you exhale, feel and sense elbow to knee connection. We light up the front of the spine and the back of the spine. And then slowly, slowly let the arms come down. Let's go ahead and lengthen through one leg at a time. Let the toes dance as you witness now, after some mindful breathing and some movement, creative movement in the body. Feel the shoulders down through the pelvis, down, down, down through the legs. Dive deeply through the brow. Come to the center of the brain and feel and sense for a moment here the breath, the two streams of light, the coolness, and the exhale as the body becomes a little heavier. A relaxation puddle. Ease. A letting go. And then one more breath, just like that. You can always press the pause button and stay there longer. We're going to carry on here. So go ahead and bend up at one knee and then the other. This next flow is as yummy as that one. Go ahead and roll the palms down. Feel into the hips and let them roll up, and then swing them over to the left and come on over onto your side. Coming into TFL. So our TFL muscle, tensor fasciae lata, right here, it runs all the way down. It's a beautiful muscle that comes down to the outer knee. And it meets up with our tendon, the IT, that holds our knee very, very beautifully in place. So that one is always a little rigid, but we need it to be. That could take a little while to explain, but we'll leave it there. So feeling our outer edge of our legs, all those beautiful muscles. I like to think of it as a family that works well together. And then notice the bottom edge for a moment. As important. So have the top hand in front, like a kickstand. The whole body works and allows for this workload, this repatterning, an education process happening in the body. So relax through the jaw, let the head become heavy, and notice how well the body can relax in this shape. And then feel through that top leg. Lift that top leg right off of the lower leg and feel the lower leg pressing down as you do so. Flex that top foot and then draw it forward, just a hair, and then bring it down to the floor and let it rest. And notice how well the whole body lets go right there. Can it rest? And then go ahead and lift that leg, flex the foot. Feel the lower leg press and bring that top leg all the way back to its starting point and let it rest. Notice the group of muscles. Maybe you notice it through the sit bones, all the glutes, the piriformis you might feel as this repatterns our pathway through our somatic, sciatic nerve pathway. Little poetry going on, poetry in motion here. And then go ahead and lift that top leg, point the toes upward, bring the leg forward, and then let it come and relax and soften. Notice how well those muscles do. Even the bottom of the pelvis, can it relax and release the effort while the whole body releases? Just for a moment. One more breath here. Take your time. The head's heavy, the belly. And then on your next breath, you'll lift that top leg, point the toes up, and carry that leg all the way back to start. Let it rest and soften, soften, soften. Notice the breath. And we have one more spot. So on your next breath, lift the top leg, point the toes down, and then go ahead and carry the leg forward, maybe in between those. Let it rest there. And notice how well from one edge of the hips to the other, all the way up the spinal column to the shoulders, the arm. Maybe even the face muscles relax and you notice the jaw slacken. And one more breath, just like that. Let yourself dissolve for a moment. On your next natural breath, let's ignite all those muscles that come to the party. Feel them come up. Leg rises and comes all the way back home. Toes are pointed down. And then soften. And then go ahead and roll onto your back and witness from the inside out with the knees bent for a moment. Heel toe the feet wide or in, feel the inner knee knock. The hands can rest on the belly if you'd like or by your side. Notice from the inside out whereabouts in your body you're experiencing this sensation. We only worked one side, so you might feel one leg and then the other. Or maybe both sides are mingling and sharing that information. You feel a vibration of some sort. A hum, that somatic hum. And then one more breath just like that. Enjoy that sensation. And we'll come right over to the other side now. So take your time. You never have to spin around like I'm going to. So I'm going to gently spin around so you can see. And then very softly let yourself rest on that side. Feel the top leg leaning into the bottom leg. The bottom edge, that front hand like a kickstand in front of the heart center. And what is the breath doing here? How is the body breathing? And then when you're ready, we'll come right into it. Go ahead and lift that top leg, flex the foot. Go ahead and bring it down to the bottom of the mat. And then bring it forward. Let it relax. And notice how well. Like dominoes, the muscles will relax in the body and you bear witness here. That internal witnessing. One more breath. As important to rest in between as it is to move. And then go ahead on your next breath and lift that leg, flex the foot, and carry that long and strong leg all the way back. Let it relax and soften. And one more breath. You'll lift the leg when you can. Point the toes up, draw it forward, relax it into the floor, into its support of the shin maybe. Notice the outer leg, the pelvis, the back body, the head, the shoulders. One more breath. Then go ahead and lift that top leg, point the toes up, carry it all the way home. Rest and relax and soften where you can. Notice how well the body softens here. The belly, the brain. You can drop below the thinking mind here. One more breath, follow it in, nice and full and deep, and then out. Then one more here, lift that top leg, point the toes downward. Carry it to your favorite place forward and then go ahead and let it rest. Notice how well as you breathe nice and fluidly here. Maybe a big gulp of breath. Any which way the body wants to breathe. For one more here, feel the back body. And then we'll lift that top leg when you're ready. Point the toes downward. Carry that leg down and roll. Let one leg come out, then the other. Knuckles heavy. Take a few valuable breaths here as the body feels and senses all of those subtleties. Let's travel through both feet. Feel both legs. Like you're traveling through the center where the bones live. All the way up the middle of the legs to the middle of the hips. Travel through the middle of the pelvis, the bowl. All the way through the middle of the rib cage, through the heart, center. All the way up through the back of the throat. Notice this area as you come all the way up through the middle of the brain. Take 3 breaths there and notice the quality. Send it a bouquet of flowers as we arrive. And one more breath, just like that. And then go ahead and bend up at one knee and then the other. We're going to come into the pelvis in this next flow. Quite a bit here with around the clock. It's a lot like hula hooping, the hips. It's like a dance. So go ahead and roll one hip up and place one hand underneath and then the other. The thumbs can touch in the first finger. So we'll have the pelvis like a clock here. So the thumbs, right underneath the thumbs of the pelvis, will be 12 o'clock. Where the fingers are touching, that diamond shape, right at the coccyx bone there, will be 6 o'clock. And then come into your breath, and on your inhale, feel the tail come down as the spine arcs. And as you exhale into the navel, feel how the pelvis comes gently over the thumbs. Inhale, tail, 6 o'clock. Exhale, over the thumbs. Notice from the top to the bottom a tilting and a flattening of the pelvis. Now, draw a circle around the pelvis. Picture that circle. Maybe a light, a highlighter. Maybe it's a bowl, and you can really sense the edges. So press into the right foot and let that hip come up. That part of the bowl, if it was filled with water, now the other edge of the bowl, it's pouring it over to that edge. Feel and sense that watery sensation, a fluid-like sensation. And then now press into the other foot. Let that hip come up, that part of the bowl, and then it comes down. So maybe it's jello-like inside there, so that it will not spill. And you can feel a light little wobble from one side to the other. This fluidity, a smoothness. Come into the playfulness of this pose. This one is very playful. And cut yourself some slack if this is your first time experiencing around the clock. And so those of you that have played the game of flicking the coin, if you hold a quarter, if you live in Canada, right on the top, I guess almost anywhere, maybe it's called a quarter, I'm not sure, quarter of a dollar. Hold it right on edge and you give it a flick, it will wobble, wobble, wobble around the edges. That's going to be our pelvis. So go ahead and take an inhale and feel 6 o'clock come down. Let one edge of the pelvis come down while the other goes up. Come around the top. One edge comes down while the other one comes up. Go ahead and feel into 6 o'clock. And then I'll drop all the instructions. This one's difficult to keep you in sync. So feel and sense the outer hips roll around the hands. Notice if there's any dull ache even in the hands, where the pelvis might be coming down on the fingers. The fingers and the palms, the hands feed back into the brain. There's so many receptors. So for a lot of reasons, use the hands. Go ahead and feel into the other way around. Notice the other direction. Can you roll the pelvis like this? Is there any thunking, bumping sensations? So notice what you notice. Maybe if you want to stay out of those snap, crackle, pop, bumping, thunking sensations, maybe a little less. Maybe you semi-circle through that area. Give the brain a little bit more time to register and sort. And then feel into what direction you'd like to go into. Maybe a little quicker, maybe a little smaller. And how about one more breath here? And then pause. Take the hands out. Roll the knuckles heavy. Let the inner knees knock and the heels remain outward, toes inward. Pause for a breath or two. Notice the targeted area of the back of the pelvis, outer hips. Feel the whole back body to the shoulders. Feel through the neck all the way into the center of the brain. One more breath here. We're going to stir this all up now with an integrative pose called flamingo. So let the knees come away and drag the hips over to the right. Come into your flamingo by drawing one arm, the lower arm out, and feel the head come down. If this feels too much, it's too much. Go ahead and grab yourself a blanket and elevate the head. Start at the edge so that you have somewhere to roll the back of the head to. I'm going to represent not having it so that you'll notice the head come down. That might feel delicious in a little while, but it's up to the shoulder. So please take care of yourself wherever you are. And then feel into that top big toe. Draw a line down when you can to the bottom of your mat. Let that hip come forward, outreach that bottom arm, and notice. Maybe for a breath or two here while the forehead rolls into the mat. And then go ahead and drag that top leg up that lower inseam. Feel the drag of the arm and roll to the back of the head. You might like to drag that hand over the heart center and unfurl. Maybe a breath, 2 or 3 there. Or continually move. Notice how this is with your body as you gently drag that top leg down into that wilted flower on the forehead. You outreach the bottom hand. You can drag that leg up into the flamingo part, all the way into the belly. And the arm might unfurl and the head can follow. With the eyes closed, come to whatever feels good. This is a feel-good integrative pose. Stirs up all of those sensations. Like a massage. So maybe that top arm comes up in an arc, like painting a rainbow around the body. You might move a lot slower than what I'm suggesting. That top leg might follow the bottom leg, or it might now come into a different line down, a different line the top arm can take. You can relax. Take a breath or two wherever you are, or continually move. Whatever feels delicious. This one's safe to stay here for as long as you'd like, but for today's practice, one more breath wherever you are. And then float onto your back for a mini body scan. Knees are bent. For a breath, 2 or 3, witness what's just occurred on that side. Eyes are closed. Feel and sense from one side to the other. And then one more breath just like that. And then go ahead and come on over to your right side, and let's come straight into it by bringing the top hand into the lower hand. Let the head rest and the top leg rest on that lower leg. Use a pillow or not. Feel into that bottom shoulder and let it dictate where you need your support today. Do you need a pillow? Or is the head okay downward? And then go ahead and take another breath right there. And then draw that leg down and that top hip forward. Roll onto the forehead. Spend a breath or two, or continually move if it feels delicious. The thigh can come into the belly. That top arm can feel the whole entire chest area as it opens up. You might want to spend a breath or two exactly there, or continually move. That bottom leg can drag down to a new spot. Top hip forward. Take up plenty of space as you move like this. You might like to arc the arm up, paint that rainbow, and open up that heart center. Notice how you feel as you move and you breathe like this now. In continual motion. The breath, or these beautiful pauses, wherever you find yourself today. Full acceptance of moving and breathing like this. Notice how you feel. And then one more breath. And then go ahead and come into your Shavasana. Take your time. If you have a blanket, please use it. If you're in a very hot climate and your body's really warm today, then maybe just on the lower belly and the thighs for some weight, or maybe underneath the thighs. If you have a bolster underneath the knees, or cinch it all the way up by the back of the thighs. Use one leg to hold and the other leg to come nice and long, and then you come in. So you have a little compression on the back of the thighs. Will help the sit bones drape in and the lower back just to settle a little more into the mat. If you have something to put over the eyes, please do. A sock, a rolled up sweatshirt, anything to bring a little fabric, a little deeper fabric of darkness to help that relaxation response seep in. Remain there on your backs and just notice how your Shavasana is. final resting pose. Notice what it's like to relax and soften as the muscles around the eyes surrender. Your doing is done. Allow the jaw to slacken and the muscles to loosen their grip as we let go. Just a little bit more, a little more, a little more. The bones will float in the connective tissue away from each other. The feet soft. We become a true receiver here. Allow yourself to feel into that openness. Open like the sky. Let yourself rest here. Fully aware. And then deepen the breath. Allow the awareness gently, very softly to start to seep inward as we wake up into our new normal. Maybe a long, well-deserved stretch through the arms, through the fingers, through the toes and the legs. Or you might like to hug the legs in, roll from side to side in this deliciousness. A little rock this way, a little rock the other. And then gently coming over to your side body and pause there for a moment as you notice all this calm. Feel that psychic hand come and give you a little pat on the back today for this gift to yourself, to your family, the community, and the world. It starts right here. Valuable work. And as you connect to that inner grin, that inner smile, use that powerful you to press into the floor, head nice and heavy. Feel the weight of the head as you use the arms to come into your comfortable seat. The head can roll up. The knees don't have to bend. The wall is a beautiful thing. Please lean into it. You might be like me and need some elevation underneath the hips so that the knees will sink down. So you can use a bolster, a rolled cushion, your blankets, anything. Then bring your sit bones close to the edge, and you might feel like you're going to tip right off of the edge of the cushion, and then bring your spinal column back. Maybe back and forth until you find that center place, side to side, With the eyes closed, you can feel from our new feet, the sit bones, all the way up the length of the spine, all the way up through the palate, through the crown, to the top of the head. Holds up our crown, our 1,000-petaled lotus, right at the top, the prize. And then go ahead and take the palms together and feel that warmth of appreciation towards yourself. Thumbs at the sternum, the heart center, with a light little press of support. Go ahead and take a breath into it. And as you bow here, bowing and honoring yourself for this practice, well done. Namaste. And thank you for your practice.